system rolling into the area today that could bring a wide range of impacts through the weekend. So I want to just kind of go through a breakdown of what we can expect. We've got multiple advisories and warnings that are going to be in effect later on today and continuing into the weekend. So if you can give me just a few minutes to get a few things prepped, we'll get started with this in more detail. But what I will do is spin the camera back around and show you what radar has been like for the last couple of hours. We've seen scattered showers across most of western Montana. This morning, we've even had some thunderstorms that have developed for areas along and west of the divide, and we are starting to see those grow in intensity this morning. So that's something we're going to have to keep a close eye on as we get later on into the day, because severe weather is also going to continue to be something we'll have to keep a close eye on. We could see some isolated severe thunderstorms. Again, main impacts will be the gusty winds, much like we've seen in recent days. But frequent lightning, heavy rainfall is also going to be something we'll be dealing with as well. Today is the first day of summer. That begins later on at, I believe it's 8:42 Mountain Time. We will not really be seeing summer-like weather as we get into the weekend. Southwest Montana, it will feel a little bit more like summer for this afternoon, but outside of that, that's where we're essentially where we're going to be. So I think I've got everything working here behind the scenes. If you have, let me spin this back around, but if you have any questions or comments as we go throughout this update, certainly feel free to ask them in the chat section. I'll try and keep an eye on those as we go throughout them. And as you're tuning in, let us know where you're watching from this morning and whether you are ready for this, I'll call it a wild weekend of weather, or if you're looking more to some more sunshine and typical summer weather once we get beyond this. So let's get started with this. I'll spin it back around, show you what we're looking at on radar right now. This is the look over the last roughly 3 hours. We've had thunderstorms off and on throughout the day, or throughout the morning, especially for areas west of the divide. And that's where we're seeing the heaviest of this activity right now. And I might actually shrink this down just briefly. Lightning strikes are just a bit too big for what I need to look at right now. So there we go. That'll be better. But we've had this cluster of thunderstorms that's now moving up over Seeley Lake, the Clearwater Junction area. These moved through the northern Bitterroot, Missoula valleys a short time ago. Gave us a little bit of thunder here in the valley itself. Actually, I heard some of those rumbles from here in the studio. Right now, we've got a fair bit of lightning here east of Seeley Lake, northeast of Seeley Lake. Looks like in the last 15 minutes, anywhere from about 5 to 10 lightning strikes at least from what radar's picked up. And you see those thunderstorms even starting to intensify further into north central Montana. So areas east and west of Choteau, we're going to see some of those storms start to intensify. But we see just this band of activity further back off to the southwest. For storms to move back into the Mission, Missoula, Bitterroot valleys, it's going to come from this activity, as well as that further back down to the south and west, where we will see at least that better chance for strong storms. And we do even have in these weaker thunderstorms here west of Missoula, south of Alberton, one lightning strike showing up. And I didn't get this pulled, but I do want to grab it really quick to kind of show you what we're looking at pattern-wise that's helping to drive the thunderstorms. And there is our pinwheeling low-pressure center. And this is actually the same low pressure that we've been talking about really for the last week and a half to almost 2 weeks. It's just been stalled out up here, just spinning away and spinning away. Well, now it's finally getting pushed off by this ridge to its west. That's what's going to bring all of this active weather. And for today, we're still going to be in this moist southwesterly flow, and that's what's going to help us at least get a bit more instability to produce at least that potential for some severe weather as we get into Saturday and Sunday. As this low pressure moves directly overhead in our region, that's when we're going to see those temperatures really cool off. We're going to see the widespread showers and that potential of accumulating snowfall, especially in our higher elevations in northwest Montana, but we've seen that actually pick up in forecast models down into southwest Montana as well, and we'll go through those advisories and warnings here momentarily. As for today's temperatures, again, I was mentioning today is the first day of summer. It's going to feel a little bit more summer-like down towards Bozeman, where we aren't dealing with quite as much rainfall for this afternoon. High temperatures, 80 in Bozeman, 74 in West Yellowstone, 71 in Butte, but it's really from Butte back off to the west. We're going to see more of the cloud cover, more of the widespread showers, and maybe even a few stronger thunderstorms. That's going to keep those temperatures down into the 60s, 63 in Kalispell, 67 in Missoula. Now, I will say this, I don't think today is going to be a complete washout. We will see waves of moisture, and I'll show you that here on Future Tracker. But down in southwest Montana, like I said, maybe not quite as much rainfall or storm activity for this afternoon, but what we will be dealing with is going to be some very strong winds, and we have a high wind warning that will be in effect this afternoon and evening in the Madison River Valley and down across all of southwest Montana. And this was another thing I meant to pull up, but I didn't grab it, so give me a moment. I'll have this momentarily. Pull up the wind tracker here. That might end up doing that. But again, the Madison River Valley, we've got the high wind warning that will be in effect for this afternoon and evening. And as we look at the forecast, Bozeman, Dillon, West Yellowstone, we could be talking winds sustained 20 to 40 miles per hour, gusts in that 40 to 60 mile per hour range. That downslope flow coming into the Madison River Valley is what's going to help to accelerate those winds. I think if we are going to see a few gusts in that 55 to 65 mile per hour range, that's where it will be. And this is going to be winds out of the southwest. So any of our north-south roads, I-15 back over to 287, 191, could be dealing with some pretty nasty crosswinds for this afternoon. So, like I said, you may not be dealing with quite as much in the way of thunderstorm activity today. You will be dealing with the wind, but where we're dealing with the thunderstorms, not as much wind. Winds maybe, I'll say 5 to 15 miles per hour sustained with gusts up to maybe 20, 25 miles per hour as we get into this afternoon. Now let's get into the precipitation side of things, because this is going to be our biggest focus moving forward. So for today, and this is going to be primarily, again, looking for areas along and west of the divide for today, 80 to 100% likelihood of rain, and we've already been seeing that so far this morning. It's been off and on rain showers here in Missoula, those rumbles of thunder, same thing up into the Mission Valley, down in the Bitterroot Valley, up into the Flathead, same thing. We've just been dealing with this. We're going to continue to see that high likelihood of showers as we get into Saturday and Sunday, though the instability will be much less. We could still see a few thunderstorms here, a couple of rumbles of thunder, but I think it's primarily going to just be rainfall at that point. So getting into today's severe weather threat, here is the focus for that. Near and east of US 93 will be that focus. We've only got an isolated or technically a marginal risk for severe weather, but this does include Kalispell, Polson, Hamilton, Missoula, Butte, Dillon, and Bozeman. I don't think we're going to see as much activity until this evening or overnight down in southwest Montana, but still could see some gusty winds with some of those showers, just with the present winds that are already going to be there. So if we do get any showers, we could see those technically become severe once they reach 58 miles per hour or stronger, just based on the winds that may already be present. But that's our main focus for today. Gusty winds 40 to 60 plus with that potential, a lower potential, but still there, of large hail up to 1 inch in diameter with the strongest of thunderstorms. Frequent lightning, heavy rainfall is also going to be expected. So let's go into Future Tracker and kind of time this all out. It's done a pretty decent job picking up on where the majority of that moisture is right now. That is west central, northwest Montana, north central portions of the state, with those storms starting to intensify. Another band of lighter activity stretching from areas near West Yellowstone up through Big Sky and Bozeman. We'll continue to see that push off to the east, and this is why I think we may actually have some breaks in the clouds in southwest Montana. This is looking around 11 a.m. Relatively quiet, while areas along and west of the divide, we are going to likely be stuck in the clouds for most of the day. That said, we'll see waves of moisture. I think Kalispell, we're going to be stuck in the rain for a decent chunk, but you notice how there's these breaks in between. It may not be raining the entire day, But I think for the majority of it, we'll likely see some thunderstorms start to develop towards the Bitterroot Valley, just south of Interstate 90 over towards Butte in that 11 to noon time frame. And this, I think, will be the start, or at least the start of that window for some potential strong to severe thunderstorms. That'll march off to the north. You see how it almost has I'll call it a Boeing effect. It almost bends back to the north. If that were to occur, that would be more indicative of some of those stronger winds right in that band. So something we'll keep a close eye on as we go throughout the day. This will be a good reminder to download the NBC Montana weather app. If you have severe thunderstorms in your location, it'll notify you as to when those severe thunderstorm warnings are posted. You can find out information about how long those will last, as well as the hazards that the National Weather Service has specified for that warning. So again, just a quick reminder, that'll be an important thing to have. It also has interactive radar, as well as those latest forecasts and things like that. So just a little plug there for it. We'll continue to see those thunderstorms developing through the afternoon. You see how we could see multiple thunderstorms developing. This particular run of the model showing maybe that greater likelihood back from Wisdom up to Georgetown Lake, Phillipsburg, Drummond, and then up into the areas north of Helena towards Great Falls. But we could see, again, where whoever gets underneath those thunderstorms will probably see some heavy rainfall. We may even see a little bit of training with those storms essentially following train tracks going over the same areas. So it's going to be really close to see what areas get the most rainfall and potentially the strongest thunderstorms today. We'll just kind of have to watch and wait to see where those storms initially develop. Kalispell, again, you're going to be right on the edge of this. I think you're going to primarily just be dealing with rain today, and by this evening, we'll transition over to more rain showers as well. But here we go again, another round of thunderstorms as we get into that 7 to 8 o'clock period. West Yellowstone could finally start getting involved, but you notice how we're still pretty quiet for areas south of Interstate 90, or Interstate 90 and south and east of Interstate 15 as we get into southwestern portions of the state. As we go overnight, we'll start to get more of that cool area, and some of our mountain peaks in southwest Montana, we'll likely start seeing some snowfall. We'll see more of those showers overnight. Could be a pretty soggy overnight period, especially as we get closer to, say, 11 to, say, 3 o'clock in the morning, Missoula, Butte, Bozeman. Kalispell will continue to see those showers, potentially heavy rainfall overnight as well, up until about, say, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Heaviest precipitation may slide just north of Kalispell. You're going to be right on the edge of that, but parts of Lincoln and Flathead counties, we could be talking rainfall over an inch of accumulation just where this sits up. And then we look at the snow starting to develop into Glacier National Park right along the divide, and some of that could be heavy, and you see how it just does not move through the day. So that could be an all-day snow event up into Glacier National Park. And depending on how much warm air gets in there, for the afternoon, this is around 5 o'clock, we may just see this be this very wet, dense type of snow that makes travel really, really bad. So, again, today's the first day of summer, yet here we are talking about winter weather, but I guess that's no surprise when it comes to Montana throwing us these little June curveballs. So, for folks that are, if you're at Glacier National Park, or if you have friends and family that are visiting Glacier, it might not be a bad idea to give them a heads up and just say, hey, you may not be prepared for winter weather, but it's coming for Saturday and Sunday morning. It'll really be that focus for some of that winter weather. And we'll go into more details about that here momentarily. One thing I do want to bring back, as we get south of, I'll say, the Flathead Valley and the US 2 corridor, notice as we go throughout Saturday, there's still going to be spotty showers, but it doesn't look like we're going to be, I'll say, wet all day. We'll be fighting with those showers back towards the Missoula and Bitterroot valleys off and on through the day, maybe back over to Butte as well. But I don't think Saturday is going to be a washout further south. Kalispell, again, right on the edge. We're going to be very close to just being stuck in the rain all day. It just really it depends on the track of the low pressure system as it's getting closer to us. But I know there's a lot of events going on this weekend, both Missoula and Butte, as well as down towards Dillon, if I'm correct. Saturday may not be too bad. It's going to be a very much a watch and see, though. I think the morning hours will have that best chance for rainfall in all of those areas. But you see how it just does not move up here. Northwest Montana, it likely will be just wet and cool and soggy, and insert wet weather related terms there, all the way through the day on Saturday. Then we get into Sunday morning, and we'll see that low pressure system finally start to push through the area. And this will start to give southwest and west central Montana the next best chance after today to see some moderate valley rain to moderate to heavy valley rain and mountain snow showers. And this has been one change in the forecast as compared to yesterday. And this is why the snowfall totals in southwest Montana have actually gone up, up in the mountains for, through about midday on Sunday. Right now, it does look like places from the southern Bitterroot Valley back across towards Drummond, Phillipsburg, and south and east on that line to Great Falls will have that best chance for rainfall throughout the day. This is looking early on Sunday morning. We'll see that continuing throughout the day on Sunday, though we will slowly start to see the intensity of this activity taper off. But, unfortunately, if you had any outdoor plans this weekend, rain will be a constant, at least constant concern. It may not be raining the whole time, but something we'll just be having to deal with all throughout this weekend. Things really start to taper off as we get into Sunday evening, though. Still looking at a bit of northwesterly flow that'll bring some showers into northwest and west central Montana overnight, Sunday and into Monday morning. But I think at that point we'll finally start to quiet down into the middle, like the latter parts of Monday and into the middle of next week. Now, as for precipitation, this is just looking at the overall forecast, and let's see if the colors will actually pop into this, because there it is. So this is looking through Sunday evening. I think these might be a little overdone in a few locations, but a quarter to a half an inch of rainfall I think is going to be common for many areas of western Montana. Probably the heaviest totals will be up here from Kalispell north into parts of northern Flathead and Lincoln counties, where again you're seeing those reds showing up. That's in that range of 1.5 to 2 inches, and that could also be in our valleys, but especially in our mountains, where we're going to be seeing that combination of rain and snow, especially as we get above 5,000 feet, where we could be actually measuring anywhere from 2 to 3 inches of precipitation, including the water, the snow melt from that as well. So I think this is going to be a very good rain event or precipitation event for western Montana. We definitely need it because we have been, we've been dealing with showers and storms, but overall we've still been relatively dry. Our drought conditions are still in that moderate to severe condition, and after this, it does look like we're going to dry out and warm up in a pretty decent way. So any moisture we can get now, especially since we've already been dealing with wildfires across the area, the more we can get now, I think the better off we'll be as we get into late June, but especially into July and August. But even at this point, it would take a lot to come back from some of the deficits that we're facing. And again, these are more multi-year deficits that we're contending with. So, like I mentioned, some of this, especially in the higher elevations in northwest and Montana, along the divide and into southwestern portions of the state, this isn't all going to be rain. We're going to also be dealing with snow in the middle of this as well, and we have winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings. We had those winter storm watches yesterday up in the West Glacier and East Glacier Park regions. Those were upgraded to winter storm warnings. Above 5,000 feet, we could be talking 5 to 12 inches of snow, and above 6,000 feet, we could be talking in some isolated locations, 1 to 2 feet of snow, and this does include Logan Pass. This gets close to the elevation of Marias Pass. I always forget what that elevation is, so let me find out for certain. Yeah, it's 5,200 feet. Okay, so it's in this 5,000 foot range, but still up into Marias Pass on US 2, we could be talking at least 2 to 5 inches of snowfall accumulation, and this is going to be that heavy, wet, sticky snow that just makes travel really, really treacherous. And now as we get into southwestern Montana and some more of the mountains along the divide, Rocky Mountain Front area, we're talking about 2 to 6 inches of snow. The advisories begin at 6 p.m. on Saturday, continuing through noon on Sunday. As for the winter storm warning up here up near Glacier National Park, Those begin at 9 a.m. on Saturday, continuing through noon Sunday when the system finally begins to clear out of the region. So looking at the upper air pattern, this is that trough of low pressure that's going to just really stay in place. It's going to just gradually move off to the east as we go through Saturday and Sunday, starting to pull out Sunday afternoon and Monday, and then we'll start to see this little ridge take shape. We're going to be in a bit of a split flow. You see another trough further off to the south, a ridge building up to our north, and that's going to actually help us to warm up and dry out as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. We may see another storm system move in for the end of the week, but it doesn't look like at this time that's going to be particularly strong, and that's going to keep our temperatures on the warm side beyond what this weekend that we're looking at. So the average at this time of the year, Missoula, 74 degrees, which I don't know why it's down here. It should be sitting, that little box should be sitting right here on this line. But beside the point, we're going to be cold in comparison. We're going to be in the 50s and 60s for most areas, though we see a few 40-degree temperatures as we get into Sunday and Monday. Once we get into Tuesday and Wednesday, those temperatures warming back up into the 70s and 80s. Will likely take another dip Thursday and Friday with that next weak system rolling through. But after that, it does look like those temperatures are going to soar for Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And some of those temperatures right now do look like we'll be back into the 80s for more than likely, but even could be approaching the 90-degree mark into not early next week, but 2 weeks from now. So, like I said, the rain, we'll take it any way we can get it right now, because I think we're going to really dry out once we get beyond this storm system. So here's just kind of a recap of what we're tracking. Again, this will kind of be the last call. If you have any questions or comments about the weather for the next few days, certainly feel free to ask those and I'll answer them real quick. But here's what we're looking at. So if you're just tuning in, here's just the quick breakdown. Today, showers, isolated severe thunderstorms. Showers will be widespread, though those isolated severe storms right now, it does look like the focus will be for northwest and west central Montana, really areas along and west of the divide. For this afternoon, as we get into the evening, we could see more of those try to work their way into southwest Montana. One thing not on this, gusty winds, we could be talking 30 to 40 miles per hour common down in southwest Montana, though, into the Madison River Valley, where a high wind watch will be in effect. For the afternoon and evening, we're talking wind gusts potentially as high as 60 miles per hour. Those will be out of the southwest, so north-south roads could be pretty treacherous travel, especially for high-profile vehicles. As we head into this weekend, we're talking valley rain and mountain snow showers, some of which could be heavy. We could be talking about rainfall of half an inch to as much as 2 inches across many parts of the area, but especially northwest Montana, along and north of Interstate or Highway 2. And then we have the mountain snow up in the Glacier National Park, where we could be talking 5 to 12 inches at pass level, potentially 1 to 2 feet in the higher peaks of Glacier National Park. So if you have friends or family out there that are visiting, or if you know anybody that's got backcountry plans, certainly let them know that the weather will definitely not be summer-like as we get into this weekend, and that could actually lead to some travel impacts, but closures of going to the Sun Road, especially if that snow gets really heavy and really dangerous out there. So just be aware of that if you have plans to Glacier National Park this weekend. Also, the US 2 corridor could be dealing with some accumulating snow up over Marias Pass as well. Once we get past this storm system, that'll be continuing through the weekend and into early next week. I think Monday morning will start to quiet down. Gradual warming and drying trend is expected through midweek, though we could see another storm system roll in for the latter parts of the week. That could help bring those temperatures down, bring a few more showers and thunderstorms back into the forecast. We got plenty of time to watch that one. But again, for right now, I know there's a lot of events going on, a lot of outdoor events going on here in Missoula, up in Kalispell, out in Butte, and likely some down in Bozeman and Dillon as well. But we are going to be having to contend with active weather. There's just no two ways around it. I don't think outside of maybe northwest Montana tonight and into Saturday that it's going to be a complete washout every single day this weekend. I would say Saturday is probably, outside of northwest Montana, Saturday is the driest day for Missoula, Butte, Bozeman, Hamilton, Dillon areas. But then we'll see that come right back in on Sunday. So guess that's pretty much everything I have. If you get any photos or videos of the severe weather, if you can do so safely, or the snow this weekend up in those higher elevations, certainly feel free to share those with us at nbcmontana.com/chime-in. Same thing for any of the events that you might be attending this weekend. You might see your photos and videos on air and online. And tune in tonight for our live broadcast for the latest news and weather updates. And I think with that, I will wrap it up for the day. I hope you have a great Friday, a great weekend. Certainly stay safe and with all of the rain and the thunderstorms and the snow. And then I will see you all on the next one. And I'll be back live on Monday morning from 5 to 7 a.m. On NBC Montana Today with Jason Hurst. So again, have a great one. I'll see you all on the next one with NBC Montana. I'm meteorologist Mitchell Combs.